All right. Hi, welcome to DurgaSoft. As you know, today we are going to start a demo on MySQL, right? So before starting, let me first introduce about myself. I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science and I have experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, and machine learning and statistics. Okay, so with DurgaSoft, currently I'm working with MySQL and Tableau. So yeah, this is about me. So MySQL, as you know, the duration is of 35 days. Okay, this is a course content which we are going to cover in our course. Okay, but after a while, I'll explain you about the course content. But today, first, let's try to understand. Let me give a basic idea about what is database, what is SQL, what is MySQL. Okay, and we will see the user interface of MySQL and we will try to create some databases and tables as well. Okay. But before going forward, first let me tell you that actually this is a kind of add-on batch. We already started one batch last week at 6 o'clock, that is 6 p.m. IST. So this is a kind of add-on batch actually. And is that timing okay for you, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. IST? Once we are done with the demo classes, we will move to that timing only. I can see we have many students here. So before starting, you can just introduce about yourself if needed. I mean, if it is okay, you can unmute yourself and you can speak, or else even you can just type it in the chat box. Just say me, maybe are you currently working or are you freshers? Do you have prior knowledge on SQL like that? You can tell me a little bit about yourself one by one.
Yeah. Hi,
Hi,
Divya.
Swapnil. Hi.
Swapnil.
Hi, Swapnil.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got 7+ years of experience planning
Okay.
the DevOps thing.
Okay.
And due to this, my project demand, I want to learn this MySQL.
Okay.
And as you mentioned, Divya, I have one query. So
Okay.
as you mentioned, this is an add-on batch,
Correct.
basically, and you already mentioned 6 o'clock already started.
Yes.
So how we gonna merge it and so
Oh
what's
yeah,
the
actually only 1 week, last Monday only we started that batch. We are done with 3 topics there. So we first will cover those 2 or 3 topics, whatever we are done. Those topics I will cover slowly only. Once we are done, we will just directly move to the 6 o'clock batch. If any concepts is left over, again I'll explain that in the 6 o'clock, and that students will be, that will be a kind of revision for them, and we will continue. As actually, every time we will do the same for every course. We already got used to it, so no worries at all. Nothing. Not a single concept, not a single topic, not only in this particular time, in the complete 30 sessions, no hurries, I'll explain each and every concept from scratch very detailedly. If you have any doubts also, we can discuss on them. Okay.
okay? So by the time that 6 p.m. batch would be on, like, it's not going right now, or it's still going?
Today I took a class. Next class will be on Monday for them. So tomorrow they don't have any class. As I said, we are only done with 3 topics there, so which can be maximum today and tomorrow. And as I said, third topic will be, again I'll explain on Monday for them, and as well as you also. Again, it depends. Suppose I really can't decide, only 3 classes will be needed for you to finish that 3 concepts, right? If needed, we can take on Monday, like that. Accordingly, we will plan. And when or else, as I said, usually if it is not completed, I will repeat the concept in 6 o'clock. Every time we will do the same. Anyways, that students maximum only one class, right? They will also feel that it's a kind of revision for them. So no worries, no problem on that.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just repeat the concept at that particular time for them also.
Okay.
So yeah. And the remaining students, hi Amrita. Okay. Usually in every batch, maximum I'll get a mixed students. Of obviously, some students already they will have some experience. They will be working on some other technologies. But obviously, as we know, SQL is very important concept. I can say that SQL is a kind of backbone to the complete IT industry. Wherever, whatever domain it is, whether it is full stack, whether it is data analytics, whatever it is, everywhere we will definitely have requirement to use SQL. We need to have that knowledge. So yeah, like that. In with some already experienced people also will come to brush up their skills, and newly new students or whoever trying to, you know, not only the students, whoever already working in some non-IT jobs, and whoever is trying to transit their career into IT industry, first they need to learn SQL only. So I'll get a mixed students in every batch. So keeping that in mind, everything I'll start explaining from scratch, like starting from what is data, I'll start explaining till the very advanced concepts. Even in our course content, advanced concepts such as CTs, window functions, everything is included. Going forward, I'll show you the course content. Okay. So without any delay, let's start. Okay. If anyone is interested to introduce about themselves, you can, or else I'll start the concept. All right, let's start. So first, as this is our first class, let's try to understand about a data little bit. First, let me talk about the importance of data. Then I'll explain about what is SQL and what is database. Okay. So we know definitely nowadays we are not only nowadays, from many years, from few years, we are generating a data a lot, right? Data generation is increased a lot. Wherever, actually whatever we use in today's life, we know, right? Everything we are depending on our maybe mobiles only, correct? We are using so many social media applications, maybe any kind of applications, maybe we are using so many e-commerce websites like something like Amazon or Flipkart, many OTT platforms we are using, and even we are making digital payments, right? We are using Paytms and all. We are using food delivery apps, correct? So like that for everything, even not only this, we are doing working from homes, correct? We are doing online shoppings. Now for learning something also, we connected online. Whatever we are doing in online, actually it's nothing but we are generating data only, right? So whatever we do online, we are generating the data, correct? So you can imagine, from, maybe I can say, from the demonetization happened, we started doing digital payments. Till then, that is not that much, right? Well, I mean, we used to carry cash at that particular time. Okay, digital payments actually came into India. We just started depending on that particular payment applications from demonetization kind time, I can say. And then from the COVID pandemic time, once COVID, from that particular period, completely we are depending upon the internet only, right? Most of the things we are, as I said, many online shoppings, maybe food apps, maybe whatever it is, we are using our mobiles. Even social media applications like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, correct? Whatever we are doing online with our applications, we are generating a data. Okay. And as we increase it, the usage of all these things in online, as I'm saying, by using all these things we are generating data, you can understand how data is become prominent nowadays. So obviously, as we are generating this much of data, there would be definitely good systems to maintain the data, right? There should be a very good systems, robust systems to maintain our data. Here databases will come into picture. Okay. Database is a place where we will store our data. Obviously, if I, whatever examples I said just now, if we are talking about any Amazon, okay, if we order something online, definitely all those data, first they will maintain that data in their database, right? Now all the companies, we know that actually, right? All the companies, they will have their own database, they will maintain the data in the database. This is about the actually database and SQL. If I talk a little bit about data analytics point of view or data science point of view, whatever data they are storing in online, I mean they are storing in the databases, whatever data we are generating on the daily basis, from that data only we will do some analysis. Data analysts will do some analysis, and based upon that analysis only, definitely the business decisions are taking, I mean they are taking the business decisions nowadays, right? Like from the analysis only they are understanding, if they are facing any kind of loss, right? Suppose let's talk about any sales data, they can understand upon by this analysis only they will understand, whether they are getting profits or not, whether they are getting any loss in their particular business, if they are facing any loss in which particular area or in which particular, region wise, like that. Based upon the analysis we made, then based on that only they will understand, and then they will focus on that particular areas to, so that they can gain the profits, right? This is what happening in the current world. We all know that, right? Why I'm saying this example in the sense, just to make you understand or just to remember you one time that what is the importance of data. Nowadays complete world is revolving around the data only, right? We are generating lots of data, every business is running because of this data only, correct? We have not only, previously how, if we think a little bit about, generations of data, I can say previously man made it would be, then industrial revolution we came, then computers came into existence. Once computer came into existence, that previously they used to store each and every details manually in some files, right? They used to write the details on
Mm,
some registers or files, correct?
mm, correct.
Then computers came into existence. Once computer came into existence, they used to store the details in maybe in Excel files. This is an Excel file which we are using right now, or something like text files, like that. Maybe they used to store the data. But in Excel files also, we are having some drawbacks. Definitely at that point of time the data generation is not that, the data is small. So if for small data, Excel or text files is okay, the maintaining the data, maintaining the small data in Excel files is okay. But as we are generating lots and lots of data today, Excel files and text files, we have some disadvantages. We can't maintain this much of data by using these files, right? That is, in these scenarios only, that is when databases came into picture. Okay, so if I say the technical definition of database, it's nothing but collection of data, basically where we will store the data. Okay, so first we will create, I guess I'm clear whatever I said till now.
Yes.
Perfect. So first we should have some databases. We will create a database first of all. Inside database, we will store some tables. Inside tables, we will store some data. Okay. So before understanding these points, let me explain about database. We understood what is it, right? Then what is SQL? As we all know, the full form of SQL is structured query language, right?
Mm,
Structured query language. And the definition of a SQL. Before explaining a theoretical definition of SQL, I would like to explain a small example. Maximum most of us already know about what is SQL, but still if any students are from non-IT backgrounds, so to make them understand very clearly what is database and what is SQL, I'm just taking one example. Okay, just imagine we have, this is one school. Let's take, maybe in this we have some 10th class A and B. Okay, So previously in our days, maybe in our schooling, uh, in every class they used to maintain some registers, right? Likewise, imagine here also in each class they are maintaining some registers in which they are storing their students details, or maybe their attendance, or maybe their marks details manually. Okay, so this is one register. Imagine maybe student id card, I mean student id, or else roll number, we can think, student name. Okay, maybe student attendance, or else that particular student marks. Let's imagine like this. Okay, so they are just storing this all these details in a normal register, in a kind of book or a register. Okay, so obviously in registers they will store the details manually, right? So one day the principal of that particular school wanted to analyze maybe the attendance of the students, or maybe the marks of the students. And what he did, he called the peon, his peon. Okay, he called his peon, and he said to his peon that go to 10th a section and bring the register for him. Okay, then peon understood. He went to 10th A. He took the register and gave back to the principal, so that the principal can see the data from the register and he can understand whatever he want. Right. So the same scenario, if we store the data in the form of not in the Excel files, of course. Let's directly talk. Let's imagine instead of a small school, maybe let's try to understand this is a big university, okay, in which they have so many students. They are storing the data in the form of databases. Okay, as I said, data, the storing the data can be in any formats, of course. We can store the data in normal Excel file also. Okay, text file also. But if it is big data, we will have some limitations in it. We will discuss about this later. But due to that limitations, and if we have a very large data, we will use databases. So here in this example, let's just talk about database itself. Imagine this is a big institution, this is a big university. They are storing their students details in the database. Okay, then what the scenario would be, if this data is in database. Now again this principal wanted to understand the data. Okay, so in the previous scenario, how principal called his peon and said to his peon that go and bring the register from 10th A, right? So while communicating this particular point, principal might use some language here, right? It may be English, it may be Telugu, Hindi, whatever it is. But some language he might use, then only pure understood that principal wanted a register from that particular class, right? In the same way, if the data is storing on the databases, here also this principal definitely he need to use one language called as SQL. Okay, SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. If we are storing the data in the database, whatever principal wanted to see, if we wanted to see 10th A details, to understand his requirement to communicate with the database, he need to use a language called as SQL. So inside SQL, we will have some syntaxes. We will learn about it going forward. But basically, that is a language by using which we will communicate with the database. According to our requirements, we will write syntaxes in the SQL, and accordingly, it will display the data. Am I clear?
Yes.
Okay. If there is any confusion, you can ask me. Basically, to understand what we require, okay, we will store data inside the database. Whenever we require some data according to our requirements, we will use a language called as SQL to communicate with the database. In SQL, whatever queries we write, accordingly the database will give that particular result. In this scenario, however, principal used English language previously to understand peon what he want. Now if the data is stored in database, definitely he need to use one language called as SQL. Inside SQL, he need to write some queries. By using that language only, he can communicate with the database. Okay, so yeah, that is about SQL actually. So now the technical definition is SQL in the sense it is a language which is used to communicate with the database. Okay, it's a language. SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. Okay, so that is about database and SQL first of all. Next, then what is MySQL? We are going to learn MySQL, right? It's nothing but basically SQL is a language. It is a universally declared language. Okay, but MySQL is nothing but what are all the concepts we are going to learn. The concepts are of SQL concepts only, but to use that concepts, to use that language, we need to use some tools, I can say, or databases, I can say. Okay, so we have some databases like Oracle SQL, maybe MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL, like that. We have some databases. Okay, these are all a different databases from different companies. MySQL and Oracle SQL are the tools from Oracle company. SQL Server is a tool from Microsoft company, like that. Different companies are having different databases, but in this, the language which we are going to use, the concepts which we are going to use of the SQL concepts only. Okay, actually we'll call it as SQL. Okay, like that. Something like in Android phones, Android is an OS out of which we are having different companies, maybe OnePlus, maybe Samsung, like that. These are all different databases. Concepts is same. There will be little bit differences between different databases, but again, these three databases, whatever I mentioned, these three are same. If you learn MySQL, you can use the same syntaxes in Oracle SQL as well as SQL Server also. Okay, like that. We are having so many tools in the market, but the concepts will be same. Again, actually SQL is of two types, I can say, SQL and no SQL. Okay, all the tools what I mentioned here, not only this, we have so many tools. All these tools comes under SQL. Okay, in no SQL we have some tools like maybe MongoDB. Okay, maybe Cassandra, like that. We have some very a few tools inside NoSQL. These tools, whatever concepts we are going to learn, that we are learn, I mean, that is of SQL. Okay, we can't use these tools by learning SQL, but whatever tools comes under SQL, all those tools we can use. Once if you learn MySQL also, remaining databases also same. If you are learning MySQL here and in your company, if they are using SQL Server also, no problem. The concepts will be same. Okay, like that. So SQL follows DBMS concepts. So we have something called as RDBMS. That is nothing but relational database management system. Okay. So what is RDBMS? What is relational database management system in the sense? Here, as I said, first we will create a database. Inside a database, we will create tables. Inside the tables, we will insert the data. We will store the data. Okay. So basically, we will create tables. We will store the data in the form of tables inside any database. Okay. And what is RDBMS in the sense? If our tables are related with each other. Here in SQL always follow RDBMS technique. RDBMS is nothing but our tables should be related with each other in SQL. Okay, if the tables are related with each other, that is called as, that system is called as relational database management system. So inside database, whatever tables we are creating here, all those tables should be definitely related with each other. Okay, whereas in NoSQL the tables won't be related with each other. Here actually this concept is little bit different. Let's not talk much about NoSQL as we are discussing, as we are going to learn about SQL only. Okay, but for knowledge purpose I just said this points. Am I clear so far? If there is any doubts, anyone you can ask me.
So basically, so that SQL is a language.
Correct.
So where we can use this MySQL tool to get the
Correct.
data.
Yes.
Okay.
So all the concepts will have of SQL only. So
Mm.
generally we will use the same concepts either in MySQL, Oracle SQL, SQL Server. These are all different databases available in the market. Okay,
Okay.
so we can use the same concepts in all these tools. The syntax is all the concepts, whatever we are going to see now,
Mm.
whatever contents we are going to learn, the contents and the concepts will be same. Tools will be different. User interface might be different, but the concepts and the syntaxes will be same. There will be very little differences between the tool to tool, especially if we are focusing on MySQL and SQL Server. Those two tools are widely used tools nowadays, right? Not only
Mm.
nowadays, from many years we know. Previously we used to use Oracle SQL. Nowadays MySQL is the same. Again, that is a tool from Oracle itself. So these two tools we don't have any differences. Both are same. And from Microsoft we are having SQL Server. So there will be in two concepts there will be different. Only two concepts. Remaining all concepts the syntaxes will be same. Where is that particular different? When discussing about that particular differences, I will mention this syntax is also a very small differences only in two concepts, only in two syntaxes you can find. Remaining everything is same. Whatever you learn that syntax you can apply in SQL Server also, like that. And the reason why we are choosing MySQL to to learn, in the sense it is an open source platform. That is, it is freely available for everyone. And due to this reason nowadays all the companies, most of the companies are preferring to use MySQL, or else maybe due to the, if it is data analytics or data science field, maybe whatever companies are using Power BI, maybe they will prefer to use SQL Server because of the Microsoft. I mean all the tools from Microsoft, if anyone is preferring to use those people, maybe they will prefer to use either SQL Server or else MySQL. Only two tools you can find in almost all the companies. But as I said, everywhere the syntaxes will be same. So no worries. If I mean, and just you should, for knowledge purpose I'm saying this. If you learn MySQL in any interviews, if you find SQL Server, then no worries. The syntaxes, the concepts, everything will be same. Okay.
So before learning this MySQL, so
Mhm.
do we have a knowledge in SQL as well?
No, I mean it's my see, to make you understand, let me tell you, it's a kind of, suppose if you know how to use a phone, either you can handle OnePlus phone or else you can even handle Samsung phone. Both the are same, right? All the
Mm.
options will be same, settings will be same. Maybe the phone size or maybe the functionalities will be different, right? The
Mm.
same way SQL concepts will be same. These are just a different tools. In my system only I'm having two tools. Even I can show you the user interfaces of both if required in any another class. But the syntaxes will be same. It is like a different phones. The user interface will be different maybe. Again, there won't be much difference in user interface also. Concepts will be same, like that.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to learn SQL concepts only, but we are using MySQL to learn to
Mm.
execute SQL, like that.
Okay. Okay.
So
Got it.
same syntax, even you can install SQL Server and you can execute in SQL Server also. Everything will be same, like that.
Got it.
Okay, no worries. Let's see the first user interface of MySQL Workbench, then you will understand. But before that, everyone, am I clear? Whatever points we discussed till now?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's start understanding about user interface of MySQL. Just give me a second. I just finished one batch, so everything is open as it is. Just give me a second. Okay. Or else let's do me. I just close MySQL. Once again, I'm opening. This is a tool. Once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay. So now I'm just opening the tool. This is MySQL Workbench. Okay. So here we can see something called as local instance. We need to click on it. So yeah, this is the user interface of MySQL Workbench. Okay. So obviously, as we know, this is something called as menu bar. This is toolbar, right? In every tools will have the same. So we have something called as schemas here. Below that, whatever you can see, this is nothing but the list of databases available. Okay, this is the place where databases will store. So all the databases, whatever I'm having in my system, all the databases list you can able to see. So by default, we will get, once we install the software, we will get only sys database. As I'm having this many databases, you can see all the list here. Okay, but initially by default we will have sys database. Once we started creating any databases, then that particular database list you can find here. Okay, below schemas, the list of the databases. Okay, and here this is information section. Basically, after, let me show you, in every database basically we will have four sections. Okay, tables, views, stored procedure, functions. We will learn one by one. First we will understand tables, then we will see what are views, stored procedures, everything we will learn. Okay, so if I am selecting, suppose in this particular database I'm having some tables like this. If I am selecting any data, any table, in the information section it is showing me some details about that particular table, like, a shortcut to understand how many columns are there and what is the data types. Let's not get into very technical terms, but this is the information section where we can understand about the table details, I can say. Okay, so this is the place where we will, this is a SQL editor, actually SQL files we can open here, and this is a place where we are going to write SQL queries. At the bottom, this is the output section. Once we execute any SQL query, we can able to find the output here. Okay, so now to open a new SQL file, we have two options. In the file menu, we can click on new query tab. If I'm clicking like that, I can able to open a new SQL file. Okay, or else shortcut to open, we have a icon here, first icon in the toolbar. Okay, this icon, first icon in the toolbar, if I'm clicking this also, that is a shortcut to open a new file. Okay, like this, both are same, we can use anything. Okay, and after opening any file here, we have some options in it. So obviously this is where we are going to write SQL queries. Okay, after writing any SQL query, this is a save button. Okay, we can save this file into our systems by clicking on this, obviously. And to open already saved files, we need to click on this folder icon like this. If I'm clicking on this folder icon, it will allow me to open any of the files which we already save. Okay, let me just open any file, for example. Okay, like this is a file which I already saved. Like this we can open and access. Okay, this is a folder icon, save button. Third button is called as execute button. Okay, after writing every statement, we will execute that particular statement, right? So to execute, we need to click this button. Okay, the remaining options we will see going forward whenever we are working on it. Okay, for now these are enough. So without any delay, let's create a database. Okay, so here actually, for everything we will have some syntax. We'll have something called as syntax in SQL. Syntax is nothing but, maybe we can call it as rule or any kind of formula. Okay, we need to follow that particular syntaxes for each and every concept. Okay, and before starting, I already explained you about the definitions of database and SQL. I'm not repeating it again. Okay, but let me explain you about few points here, then we will create a database. First of all, SQL is case insensitive. I can say MySQL is case insensitive. That means I can use uppercase or lowercase, it's okay. Okay, it is case insensitive, whatever we use, no problem. And we have something called as comments here. Like in every programming language, if you are from IT background, obviously in any programming language, it can be C, C++, Java, anywhere, we will have something called as comments, right? That is whatever we are writing inside comments, that is non executable, correct? So if I don't want to execute any particular line, I'll write it inside comments. If you observe here, I already wrote this lines. Before writing this lines, I already used some symbols. This is nothing but comments. Okay, this line is just as a notes I'm writing here. Generally, in real time, if we are writing something like trial and error, if we don't want to execute any particular query or any particular line, we can mention it inside quotes. Or else if we want to write anything to describe about what we are writing, like that, any kind of thing, if which is not executable, can be written inside quotes. Here in our classes, generally I don't prefer to give you theory kind of, normal notes. Okay, in after once each concept is done, I'll send you the SQL files only, in which I'll provide theory part as well as syntaxes, examples, everything. Okay. All the theory part I'll actually write within the codes like this. Just like this is an example of one file. Maybe this is joins file, and this is about some examples. Question I wrote inside quotes, and this is a query like that. Okay. I'll once we are done with each and every concept, I'll upload this files only. If let me show you any other, suppose SQL commands or else operators and clauses, any like this. If it is any theory part, I'll write here only, then examples, then syntaxes like this. I'll share this files only. Okay. So like that. Theory part here I'll mention inside comments. Okay. So basically we have two types of comments. What the one is single line comment, multi-line comment. Okay, single line comment in the sense, in one line if you are mentioning the comment, that is single line comment, just like this is one line and I use this symbol. So the symbols we will use for single line comments is either this two hyphens like this, or else even we can use hash. Okay, anything is fine. If I use hash and if I write anything, that is also considered as a comment. Or else if I use this two particular hyphens, that is also considered as a comment, single line comment. Likewise we have multi-line comments also. Instead of single lines, if I wanted to write in multiple lines just like a paragraph, then we will use this symbols, hash and star, to start the comment, and then I can write anything. Okay, to close we will use star and hash. In all other programming languages also we'll use the same, right? This is the start of the comment, this is the end of the comment. We in between we can write how many lines we want inside. So we will call it as multi-line comment. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Single line and multi-line comment.
Yes.
Perfect. So these are some kind of points which we need to understand before. So now let's, usually I'll write all the syntaxes also inside comments only. Okay, so let's create a database first. So as I said, we will first, let me open Excel file. Okay, suppose let me write one table here. Let's create our first table, that is employees table, in which maybe I'll use employee ID, employee name, okay, salary, maybe date of joining, 4 columns. Okay, I'll just randomly give some data. Just give me a second. So maybe like this is my table name. Okay. So as I said, First, we'll create a database. Inside database, we'll create a table. Inside the tables, we will insert the data, right? Basically, table consists of rows and columns. Okay, rows and columns. You might already know this, right? Vertical thing is called as column. That is, in this is our employees table in which I'm having 4 columns. Employee ID is 1 column, employee name, salary is 1 column, date of joining is 1 column. Vertical thing, whatever we can see, that is a column. We are having 4 columns here. Okay, and horizontal thing is called as a row. That is, this is my first row of data, this is my second row of data. Here I'm having 2 rows. Okay, 2 rows, 4 columns I'm having here in this particular table. Okay, like that. Definitely every time we'll create this in Excel file I'm showing you. Now we are going to create this in SQL. Okay, SQL. But basically every table consists of rows and columns. Okay, so let's get back to our database, to our workbench. First, let's create a database here. And every time database names should be unique. Okay, so maybe I'll create, let's see the syntax for creating a database. Okay, it's simple. Create database name. Okay, I'm just writing like this. Create database name is the syntax to create a database. So let's use that. Create database. I'll give the database name as SQL7 here. Okay, this is my database name. So this is how we are going to create a database. Syntax of creating a database. After writing, we need to select this. Then this is the execute button. I'm executing. At the bottom, we can see the output. If the output is successfully run, we can able to see the green color mark like this. And if we get any errors, it will show us red color cross mark. Okay, now the database is created successfully. You can see 1 row affected, it is saying. And after creating the database, to see this database in this list, actually we need to refresh. We are having a refresh button here. I'm just refreshing and I can able to see here SQL7. Now I got it, right? Like that. So this is how we will create a database. Okay, after creating, now if you can see, I'm expanding this section. I mean this database, you can see 4 sections. As I said, tables, views, stored procedures, functions. First we'll concentrate on tables. Going forward we will learn remaining things. Okay, so I just created a database, but every time before using database we need to activate the database. Okay, we need to activate our database, because maybe in real time we will work with only one database, maybe to our client's database. But here if you can see, I'm having so many databases, right? So every time before working on any database, I need to activate the database. Then only SQL will understand what database I wanted to use. Okay, if you can see here, already simple is the database which is in already activation. Okay, you can see remaining database names normally, but simple is a database name. You can see it is already highlighted in some dark bold characters, right? Like that. Currently this database is in activation. If I execute any queries, automatically SQL will execute under this database. But now we need to use this particular database. So again, now we need to activate this database, like that. If none of the databases are in activation, SQL will throw us error stating no database is selected, kind of thing. Okay, or else whatever database is in activated already, under that database only all the SQL queries will be executed. So every time whenever we are starting working, especially in learning process only, we need to check what database is in activation, or else every time whatever database we are going to use, that database we need to activate first, then only we need to execute remaining queries. Okay, so to activate the database also we'll have one syntax, that is use. We are going to use keyword here, use database name. This is the syntax for activating the database. Okay, let me write use database name is SQL7, right? Like this. Now let me select execute. You can see it is also executed successfully. Now let me refresh and check. Of course, to just check this, no need of refreshing also. If I'm just scrolling it down, you can see now this particular database, whatever we just created, it got activated, right? Am I clear till here? So we created the database, we activated the database. Inside now we need to create the tables. Okay, but before that, let me just show you once about the course content which we are going to cover in this particular course. As I said, this is an add-on kind of batch. The timings from once we are done with demo classes, the timings will be from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. IST. Okay, I hope that timing would be okay for you, but still, if most of you, as we already got so many students here, if every one of you wanted me to continue in this timing also, I can think about it. Okay, so anyone is there who is not comfortable with 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. IST timing? Think about it. Okay, so yeah, this is the course content which we are going to cover. The specialty of my course is that I am going to use a real-time database here to understand all the concepts. Okay, up to here you can see the course content first introduction to database and SQL, which we are done today. Limitations of Excel, creation of database and tables, now we are on this stage. Okay, limitations I'll explain later. Next, MySQL installation, data types in SQL, SQL commands or sublanguages. Basically, we'll have 5 types of sublanguages: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. And each sublanguage will have some commands. Like in DDL, we have create, truncate, drop, alter, rename, like that. We are having some commands in each and every sublanguage. We will discuss all the commands very detailedly by solving some examples. Okay. Next, integrity constraints. That is, we have some keys in SQL, right? Something like primary key, foreign key, not null key, unique constraint, check constraint, default constraint. So each and every constraint we will discuss in detail. Okay. So up to here, I can say this is a very basics of SQL. So all these concepts I'll explain normally by using either employees table, students table, any tables. Okay, especially in integrity constraints. For each and every constraint, we will create some tables like orders table, products table, like that. Some basic tables, and we will understand the concepts. Once we are done with that, then I'll going to introduce our real-time database. We can consider that as a movies database or else any kind of OTT platform kind of database. Okay, so basically we are going to use a movies database here. This the same database can be used for OTT platform database also. So I'll give you that project first. I'll give you the explanation of it. I'll show you how you can restore that in your systems, and then we will start understanding our main concepts. Okay, we have something called as operators and clauses in SQL. So that concept covers up to here, operators and clauses. Okay, we have something called as where clause, which is used for filtering the data. Inside where clause, we will use many operators. Okay, something like and operator, or operator, not operator, range operator, that is between operator, membership operator, which is nothing but in operator. All these operators basically we will use along with the where clause. So in each and every operator, we will solve some examples, and we will see very practically by using this database. For every operator and for every clause, we will solve many examples. Okay, then we have order by clause, which is used to sort the data. Okay, distinct clause, whenever we wanted to display some unique data, we will use this limit clause. Okay, we have two use cases we will discuss going forward. Then like operator, very important and interesting operator, using which we will do actually pattern matching of the data. Okay, whatever domain you belongs to, whether it is analytics, I mean data science, or whether it is full stack development, wherever it is, we will use like operators definitely for pattern matching of the data. Okay, we have some wildcards in like operator. We will see each wildcard by solving some examples. Okay, this is about operators and clauses. Every concept, okay, I'm not saying again and again, every concept we will solve. We will learn everything, every concept by solving some examples by using this database. Okay, next, functions concept. Mainly we have this inbuilt functions like number functions, character functions, date functions, aggregate functions. In each of this type, again, we are having so many functions. We will discuss all the functions detailing. Okay. We have aggregate functions, we have many date functions like date add, date def, now function, like that we have so many character functions also, something like concat function, like we have so many functions. We will discuss everything detailing. Next, very important concept of SQL, I personally feel joins is a backbone of SQL. So very important concept. We have so many types of joins: inner join, left join, right join, out, right, self join, cross join, natural join, like that we have many types of joins. Each and every join we will discuss detailedly by solving many examples. Okay, this is very important concept in real time. Maximum we will use this concept very frequently, right? And as this is important only for this particular concept, once along with the examples which we were discussing in the class, I'll give some assignment or practice questions, some questions on only this particular joints concept. I'll give some time, you can just practice, you can try to solve those things, and maybe after 1 week or 10 days we will discuss about that particular questions in class also, so that you can verify or you can understand how much you got that particular concept only for this particular concept. Okay, this kind of assumptions examples by using the same database. Next, regular expressions, one more important and interesting concept. Same like operator, this is also used for pattern matching of the data. But here we are having so many anchors. Okay, so many types of anchors we are having, so many ways we can try to find the patterns of data. We will learn each and every anchor with by solving so many examples. Next, again we are having group by clause, having clause. This too also comes under clauses and operators, I mean clauses concept. But to understand these concepts, we need to understand joins. That is the reason I wrote we will discuss at this point of time what is group by clause, what is having clause, and how we are going to use aggregate functions along with the group by clause. Okay. Next, subqueries. If you are writing one query within another query, that is nothing but subquery. Here we are having uh, you know types of subqueries like correlated subquery, non-correlated subquery, single row subquery, multi-row subquery. Everything we will discuss detailedly with examples. Then normalizations, in every other institute maybe if they include this concept they will normally say what are all the normal forms we have, but here I'll explain this by very practically by taking one raw data. Okay, we all know that being SQL developers we will get a ready-made database and we will start working on that database. But before that, who will create all these tables, right? How they will create all these tables, in the sense obviously from every client generally we will get some raw data, right? Actually, not SQL developers, data engineers will do this process. Okay, they will convert raw data into a perfect database form. In that process they will use this normal forms. In every normal form we will have some rules, not only explaining the rules theoretically. I'll show you how we are going to convert. I'll take one raw data and I'll show you how we are going to convert raw data into a perfect database by using this normal forms. That is this concept: normalization, denormalization, and normal forms concept. Next, ER diagrams, views concept, index concept. These are all small concepts but very important concepts in SQL. We have a specific usage for each and every concept. Here views we are used for specific thing, indexes we are using for specific thing. Here obviously indexes we will use for m- to improve the performance of SQL, I can say. Views also will use, everything we will use for specific you know use cases we are having. We will discuss along with the use cases, everything we will discuss very clearly. Next, temporary tables. If you want to remove duplicate values, we will use temporary tables concept in real time. Okay. Next, CTEs. Common table expression is a full form of CTE. Very important and advanced concept, I can say. Okay. So I'll explain about this detailedly. Next, stored procedure. We have some parameters in stored procedure. What is stored procedure? Everything we will see practically. Then very important, Windows function. Nowadays in every interview, whether if you have some experience, you can expect these questions in the interviews. Previously, even I also not I didn't include this in my course content. Upon students request, I included this particular concept here. We have 5 types of functions. Here I mentioned only 3 actually, but we have 5 functions: rank, dense rank, row number, lead, and lag. All these 5 functions along with the examples we will discuss. At the end, we will discuss some interview questions. Okay. So this is our course content. All the topics we are covered here. Everything we will discuss very detailedly by solving some examples by using this database, real-time database. And the course duration is of 35 days, in the sense 35 sessions. Maximum will take Monday to Friday. Okay, so 35 sessions we will take. And the course fees is of only 3,000. And let me just share you the details once for you, payment details or registration details. And this is our first demo. Tomorrow also we'll have demo only. We will continue what if wherever we stop today, we will continue tomorrow. We will create some tables. We will start understanding about sub languages concept. Okay, I just shared you the registration details. If you really like the way of my explanation, like if you like the course content and all, you can just get registered with us. Okay, so yeah, from here let's continue in the tomorrow class. And still, if you have any questions, if you wanted to ask me anything, you can just ask me now. SQL is a very important concept. We will discuss, however, I explain now like that very slowly. Each and every syntax I will only write manually and I'll explain very clearly. Okay. Whenever you get any doubts, once you get registered, you will get video access, daily recording sessions. If any one day if you miss or else like that, if you want to revise the thing, you will get a recording sessions for 6 months, and notes once I'll well done with the topic, I'll upload the notes for you. Okay. So any questions, guys? Anyone?
No, Divya.
Divya, I have one
Yes,
question.
Swapnil. Yes, please.
So earlier we were having, like, for example, around 7 to 8 years back, we were
Okay.
having separate SQL developers kind of requirements. But
Correct.
now their expectations is different. We have to club something with SQL, for example, Tableau or something
Yes,
like that.
nowadays, yeah, nowadays, actually, previously only with SQL we used to work in real time, but nowadays it's not the scenario. Either if it is full stack side along with the SQL, they are expecting any programming languages and all. If it is data science side along with the SQL, we need to learn any one of the data analysis tool, I mean visualization tool like Tableau, Power BI, like that. As a package or as a combination, they're expecting from us. Yeah, that is a scenario of our companies nowadays. I won't say you that if you learn SQL, you can get a job, but to get any job in any role, definitely you need to know the SQL. That is what I can say you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it is testing side, everywhere nowadays SQL, no, as you said, as you mentioned, Swapnil, previously only we used to, even we used to learn only SQL, maybe PLSQL, and we started working as a SQL developer initially. As I said, I have eight plus years of experience into data analytics. Previously, I used to work as only SQL developer for in the initial years of my career, like that. But nowadays it's not the scenario. If it is data analytics, we need to learn one visualization tool, like that. In every domain, we need to learn one extra subject along with the SQL. But if it is data analytics, SQL is again a backbone. If anyone is trying to, you know, for data analyst or anywhere, suppose if it is Tableau developer, Power BI developer, first round of interview they will take on SQL only. If we clear that round, then only the second round will be on the either Python or Tableau, Power BI, like that accordingly. Just the importance of SQL. And likewise, along if it is full stack side, any programming language, testing side, everywhere SQL will be included. And the course content whatever it is in, that is not only, as I belongs to data science field, that is, it's not that I'm focusing only that side. I mean, what are all the concepts I mentioned in the course content, that is common for everyone, every role. Okay, I mean that only the concepts we have in SQL. Anyone, if you have any doubts, I'll address it, or else I'll end the session for now. Let's meet in tomorrow's class. Any doubts, guys? Anyone? If there is no doubts, I'll end the session for now. As I said, tomorrow is also a demo class. You can attend at the same timing, 7 p.m. IST, by following the same link. Let's continue. Actually, today I gave, we discussed a little bit only on the syntaxes part, because we discussed much about the introduction of databases and SQL, obviously. So tomorrow what we will do, we will create a table, we will understand what are the data types we have, what is the difference between char and varchar, that is a kind of character data type. Like that, slowly we will discuss one by one. Once, if there is time, we will start understanding about sub languages concept. Okay. All right, guys, if that is so, I'll end the session now. Let's meet tomorrow.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.